Good afternoon, family. Thanks for checking out today's broadcast. It is March 21st, 2022. If you're new here, my name is Jonathan, and I created this channel as a way to record my progress as I work towards my goal of achieving a healthy weight. If you do enjoy the video, make sure that you get subscribed to the channel. Also, click on that bell icon so you'll get alerted when I go live. If you'd like to participate in on the discussion, you can join me on my live streams at 4 p.m. most weekdays, or outside of my live streams, you can consider joining our Discord server. There is a link for that down in the description below. Also, if you're looking for ideas or different meals, there is a link down in the description below for a Pinterest board that has some of our family's favorite meals that we enjoy. Today is day 506, maybe? I wrote 505, but now I'm looking at my notes. Today might be 506 of my 3-year challenge to lose 300 pounds. I'm going to be very confused now. I'll fix that. Maybe. I'll figure it out by tomorrow. It's over 500 days. I've used a combination of extended water fasting and a whole food, plant-based, salt, oil, sugar-free diet to lose over 200 pounds so far. I'm really excited about how things have been going. I've done really well since the beginning of 2022. I had plateaued a bit there, and then I finally am breaking through that plateau and have lost about 22 pounds in the last 2 months. Anthony's checking in saying, hello, Anthony. I hope everything's going great for you today. I hope you had a great weekend. And yes, it's over 500. That's really all that matters at this point, is that I've stuck to something for more than 500 days. I don't know that I do know that I cannot say that for any diet that I've done in the past. So it's pretty awesome. I'm going to go ahead and switch over to the main screen here. Yeah, I hope everybody had a great weekend. It was really nice this weekend. The weather is definitely changing towards nicer weather. Today it was like 60 degrees this morning, which is pretty warm considering what it was this past week. All the kids were wearing short sleeve t-shirts and shorts to go to school, and that was a bit of a change from last week where they were still needing their coats and stuff. So if anybody has any non-scale victories they'd like to share, I'd love to hear them. If you have any questions about my diet or want to share what what you're trying to do, I'd love to hear from you guys as well. This weekend was kind of busy. We had a few different things going on. But Friday night for food, we had mega veggie chili, which is a staple for us. It's one of the original recipes, I call it, of our diet. Carrie did not have any corn, so we substituted green peas for the corn, but it was just as good with the peas. And maybe next time we'll make it with corn and peas. Who knows? But really, it's a simple recipe that you just throw a bunch of cans of food and some chopped carrots and Instapot it and get it done with. So that Instapot is definitely a lifesaver with the way we eat now. I mean, we used it a lot before we switched to this diet, but having an Instapot has really helped a ton with like the oatmeal we make, the potatoes and the sweet potatoes. Really, we make probably 5 out of the 7 meals that we have in a week are made in the Instapot. Some of the ones that aren't are like the chickpea tikka masala or the miso soup, which we don't have a ton of that anymore. We were having miso a lot more, and then I kind of cut back when I quit having the avocado toast, and it just hasn't been as common of a dish for us as it was. I'm trying to think. I believe Saturday was a crazy hectic day, and we ended up having dinner. I want to say that dinner was like 8 8:15 at night. I had dinner after I put our youngest kids to bed on Saturday night, and I can't remember why it was such a hectic day. My niece is expecting a child, and so there was a baby shower that Carrie and the girls were off doing that all day, and so that might have been why dinner kind of ended up being later because I just ate simple stuff, some dehydrated mango, and I had a lot of Ezekiel bread. I ate a whole loaf of Ezekiel bread this weekend with peanut butter just because it's an easy snack. The soy milk that we had been getting, it's West soy milk that we get from Walmart. They don't have it anymore, or we haven't been able to get it. So we haven't had a good source for that in a few weeks. And one of my staples when I would just, there's a few things that I have that I just eat because I want to fill my gut. I don't concern myself with the calories. I don't think that the calories are very high in it anyways. And that is well, I know the calories are probably pretty high in the Ezekiel bread with the nut butter. But I'll make a few slices of that and eat it. And like I said, it just gives me that full stomach I'm looking for. And I don't feel guilty about it. The other thing that I like to have a lot of is shredded wheat with raisins and soy milk. And this soy milk disappearing from the shelves or not being available has ruined that as one of my go-tos. And so if I would have had that, then I probably would not have eaten an entire loaf of um, Ezekiel bread this weekend. But because I was kind of on my own most of the day Saturday, Carrie saying, yeah, the baby shower, she didn't get home until after 6. Uh, and so uh, that wasn't really a, yeah. So just during that day, I ate a lot of probably, like I said, the dehydrated mango from Costco that I have been pounding that since I bought it, but it is really good. Even the bags, I don't feel like the bags that I got taste as good as previous bags that I've gotten, but it's still so sweet and it's a treat that I just, I kind of go ham on. Again, I don't feel guilty about it. It's not like there's a bunch of added stuff to it. It's just dehydrated mango. Um and then we had Spanish rice and beans for dinner, and we had that kind of leftovers on Saturday. I had a ton of Ezekiel bread, but I ate more rice this weekend than I've ever eaten in my life. Like, it's incredible. I don't have it all queued up. I don't even know where my phone's at right now. Phone. But I had eaten uh Spanish rice for dinner on Saturday, and then my lunch on Sunday, if I can get this up, was pretty much the rest of the Spanish rice, which this is actually a pretty large container. I don't know the size of it, but it was completely full. And you can kind of see in the back corner there, that black bag to the left of the water glass. That's the bag of mango that just sits at the table so I can continually snack on it all day, I suppose. So this was leftover Spanish rice that we had on Sunday. And then also on Sunday evening, we had a birthday celebration for a family member. So we went over to that, and Carrie had made a potato curry that we also had brown rice that we put as the base of that. And then you pour the potato curry over that. And I had a couple servings of that on Sunday night. So it's such a weird thing. And the title of the stream here today was Change Your Food and Change Your Life. And me eating rice is a perfect example of me changing the food and changing my life, because before November 1st, 2020, I would not eat rice. If I could avoid having rice, I would not eat it. Like, if I went to a restaurant and got a burrito and it came with rice and beans, a lot of times I would ask for double beans instead of the rice. Or I would eat the tacos or burritos and the beans, and the rice would be left over, or Carrie or somebody would eat the rice. But I would not order anything with rice in it. And I can remember this being a thing from the time I was little. Like, I didn't eat rice as a 10-year-old. And fast forward to almost 40 now, and many of my meals consist of high high quantities of it being rice like this. I mean, that's almost all rice. Um and just being a totally different attitude towards it. And I really enjoy the taste of it, or the, and the texture and the feel is so satisfying. I couldn't imagine not eating rice anymore. And so it's just one of those things that I was one of my successes, I feel like, in this challenge. One of the things that I did different with this challenge than when I've tried to lose weight in the past was how open minded I was, or I have been, about doing these things or trying these foods. And if I would have let my preconceived notions about rice and about cucumber and about celery, all things that I absolutely despised, I wouldn't touch, I didn't care for it all. I would eat other things, but those things were definitely off the table. If I would not have been open to giving them a shot and trying these things, I never would have I wouldn't have succeeded. There's sometimes when this food isn't the best tasting. Thankfully, it tastes good. Like, it's very flavorful, and the food is much better than it sounds like on paper. But when I first started this, when I was getting that neuro adaptation, I see that a lot. I see people talk about that being the struggle to switching to a whole food plant-based diet, is that I think that what stops people from switching to a whole food plant-based diet is the fear that it's going to be a bland diet. That's what it is. Like, oh, it's just bland food. How can it taste good if you don't add any salt, oil, or sugar to it? And and what I could say is that it won't taste good to you if you're eating foods that are highly processed and have lots of added salt, oil, and sugar. Then, right, at first it's not going to taste good, and don't expect it to taste good. But if your goal is to lose weight and to get to a healthy weight, then you have to be open to suffering for that for a couple weeks. It might take more than a couple weeks. It may take 4 weeks. It's different for everybody, but it's it's a thing that you have to give the process the chance to work. And it's very similar to the way your eyes adjust to going in and out of a dark room. If you're sitting in a dark room and you walk into a brightly lit room, then that brightly lit room is going to be blinding. And it's going to take a few minutes for your eyes to adjust to all the bright lights. And then that becomes the new normal. And then you can see perfectly fine in that bright room. But then if you go and walk into a dimly lit room that you were just in, that was perfectly well when you were in there 10 minutes ago, but now you walk into that room after being in a bright room, and again, you can't see anything. Your eyes can't uh, see anything because they haven't taken the time to adapt to the new lighting. But you give it 5 minutes and get adapted to the new lighting. Well, your taste buds are the same way. If you've been spending your whole life eating these highly processed foods that are high in salt and high in sugar and high in oil, then your body is going to expect those flavors when you go and eat. When you give them foods that don't have those things, then your body doesn't have the receptors to taste those other flavors. It doesn't know that those other flavors are even there because it's expecting other flavors. It's expecting that high sodium content. And then and so you end up eating meals that you don't love, but you have to give yourself that time to adapt, and you will find that those tastes are there. There are amazing flavors in the foods without having to add a bunch of salt, oil, and sugar. And it's really been for me, I was fortunate in that I fasted up until I switched to this diet. So there was a little bit of that time for me to adjust was probably shorter. If I'd have gone cold turkey into it, if I'd have gone from having McDonald's the day before to switching to a whole food plant based the next day, it may have taken me 2 more weeks before I said, "Wow, these things taste good." But the way I did it, I feel like I was able to adapt fairly quickly, and for those first couple weeks, it was purely about putting fuel in my body. It didn't matter what the flavor of the fuel was. It was just that I knew I needed to be eating, and that if I ate these things, that I would get healthier. And for the first couple weeks, I was worried. I didn't know that I would be able to continue on or keep at it. And it wasn't until we had mega veggie chili for the fourth time that I sat there and was blown away at all the flavors and how much I loved the texture. And it was just awesome. But it wasn't awesome the first day. It wasn't until the fourth time. It was probably 2 weeks, And so for me, like I said, you change your food, you change your life, and you have to have an open mind, and you have to be willing to give the process the time it needs to work. Because if you do it for a week and you feel great, and then you go out and splurge on the weekend, or you let yourself have those old foods or those old flavors, you're resetting the clock again. You're walking back into that dimly lit room when you need to stay in the bright room. And your body's going to take that food. It's going to crave those things too, because that is what these manufacturers are focused on. They are not worried about feeding your hunger, not about feeding your hunger. It's about feeding your craving. It's about taking your primal instincts and using them against you so that you use your money to buy their product. And that's what it is. And that's why I love this diet, because it took us so much closer to that scratch cooking, where if they want to sell us more potatoes, they have to just make the potato look better. The packaging that the potatoes are in are not going to sell us on whether or not we want to buy them or not. Whereas when you buy a bag of potato chips, the packaging absolutely influences whether or not you decide to buy one bag over the other. The one bag's advertises that it's got 10% less fat, or the other one says 30% more, uh, 30% more in the bag. Like there's all kinds of things that they use marketing tricks to get you to buy their products, because they want you to crave their food. They want that addict that I was to be fighting in my head all the way to work, whether or not I was going to have McDonald's, Taco Bell, or Hardee's for breakfast. That's what they want, or Burger King. Throw them in there too, and Wendy. Who else is there? Chick-fil-A didn't have a great breakfast. They did have breakfast, but they do. That was how my mind used to be. Like, which one of these places am I going to go to next? Oh, who had the new burger? Who had the new sandwich out? They aren't feeding your hunger. They know, people that run McDonald's know that people are not coming to them because they're starving to death. That's not their customer base. Their customer base is people that have money in their pocket, and they don't care anything about them. Don't forget Subway. Does Subway have breakfast? I think they do have a breakfast, but I didn't get their breakfast much. Kind of think, yeah, there's all kinds of, I mean, it's awful. The But yeah, that's what they want. They want you to go after their foods. They want you to crave their food. And for me, when I started this thing too, my goal was to do this without being in the gym for hours on end. I don't have time to be in the gym for 2 hours in the morning and 2 hours at night, or even half of that time. I got kids, I got multiple businesses I'm running and all kinds of stuff. Uh, did you just say my left arm is skinny? I might get my left arm is skinny. Um, it is because he's calling me back. I gotta call him. Because I tore the distal bicep tendon in my left arm. That's why my left arm is skinny. Uh, not sure where that came from, but I don't think it was actually an attack on me. I think you were joking me, but um, you made me lose my train of thought talking about food and eating and um the yeah, my goal was to do this with my diet. And if I wouldn't have changed the food completely, then I would not have lost near the weight that I've been able to. And I don't think that I've been able to get back on track. And every time I've fallen off, I mean, it was a big thing for me to cut out all animal products and for me to not go uh back to animal products at any point and not have any cravings to go back to animal products has been one of the biggest changes that I think it saved my life. I mean, there's people that can argue whether or not it's the healthiest diet or whatnot, but if I wouldn't have switched this diet, I I'd be dead. I would have. I don't know if I'd be. I, I'd have had a heart. I was already having problems. Like there were pains, there were issues that I don't have now. I mean, and you know, it's weird, you get on WebMD and you type in, I feel this or this is going on. And I mean, had I gone to a doctor, I think that there would have been a lot that they would have told me was wrong with me, but I didn't go to the doctor. I'm sure just like every single person that's 500 pounds, you don't want to go to the doctor because the solution to all your problems is to lose weight. And if I could lose weight, then I would have done that. Right. So you don't want to go to the doctor, but this is definitely given me my life back. I went from an end of life crisis to a midlife crisis. That's definitely the way it is. I I it's scary to think about. Like cuz I'm not out of the woods. I mean, I'm still 310 pounds, but uh I'm so much closer to the edge or to getting out of the woods than I was before cuz I was deep in the woods with no compass, no map, nothing. Now I feel like I got a hold on it. I found the path. I found my route out, and I'm going to take it, and it's going to lead me where I want it to go. And yeah, so change the food, guys. It's important. The other thing I was going to talk about today was I ended up going to a movie on Sunday morning. It just worked out that some of my family wanted to go see my extended family wanted to go see the new Batman movie called The Batman, and I went to the movie with them on Sunday morning. And movie theaters for me is been a thing over the years that they're kind of a triggers maybe not the right word, but I think it is. But like I've always kind of indulged at movie theaters. Like I used to chew tobacco for years, like from the time it was not legal for me to chew tobacco. So from like 16 up until my early 30s, like 32, 33. So really just like 7 years ago, I chewed tobacco, and movie theaters were always a place where I could go and I could chew tobacco, like before I was 18 years old, and um, also there's lots of candy and there's sugar, there's soda and things like that. And so it's always been in popcorn. it's always been a place where you can kind of go, you can sit in the dark and you can indulge. And it's really funny because I'm right now, if you get a chance to try to, I'm sure, uh, if you search Google for pictures from movie theaters in the 1950s, it's really crazy because I saw one not too long ago, and nobody in the theater has any food because they didn't used to sell food in movie theaters. And then also, everybody in the theater's fairly thin. There's not a lot of overweight people, which is what a drastic change in 50 years. Like the percentage of people that are overweight 50 years ago in comparison to the percentage of people that are overweight today. And having that availability of that additional snacks, the additional food, um, definitely something where that happens. So, anyways, for me, going to the theater is always kind of a bit of a nerve-wracking thing because you're in the dark and you can, like, I have to like have this pep talk with myself before I go to the movies. Just be like, okay, you can't have anything, like can't have the popcorn because it's got oil, butter on it. The candy is all sugar, the soda is sugar, the diet sodas is not any better. I this is my personal feeling, and there's probably evidence against it. But if you're going to drink soda, drink a regular soda and not the diet soda. And I drank the diet soda. I drank so much Diet Pepsi in my life. I would drink a 6 pack of 20-ounce bottles of Diet Pepsi a day. And I did that for 5+ years. And that's just the 5 years before I started this diet. And one of the things that I always noticed, but never really considered or did anything about, was that if I had a diet soda, I would drink that diet soda as fast as if it was water, if not faster than I drink water. But if it was a soda that had sugar in it, if it was an actual soda, I wouldn't drink it near as fast. And I think that it would be better if you're going to drink something that's a soda that you drink one with sugar in it. And because I don't think you'll drink as much. I think that the sugar, especially like on this diet, I can't even have, I could have it, but I just, so anyways, back to the theater and going to the theater and having this whole, like, whether or not I should get a soda or not, or whether or not it's all right if I ate some of the Oreos or the Snicker, not the Snickers, the Skittles. And I am, I still have that fight. I guess I'm a year and a half into this and I still have to kind of have that pep talk with myself. And it's frustrating, but I also got through it and I survived and I sat through a 3-hour movie and I didn't have any soda and I didn't have any candy and I got out of it on the other end, and I got to say I succeeded. I'm sitting here bragging about it, like on the other end. And it's pretty awesome that I'm getting a control on things. It's tough. It's not, like I said, I'm not out of the woods. I could get drugged back in. And so I'm thankful that I have this channel and I have the accountability here. I think another part of what helps me is I don't want to break my diet in front of people. Like I've talked to Carrie about this, that over the past 6 months, there's been, we've gone out to eat at some restaurants that had salt and oil in the foods. And I've tasted or I've had the Beyond Chicken, like at KFC, or I've tried little things here and there. I haven't really, since the beginning of the year, I've gotten back onto the salt, oil, sugar free, but, um, I've only done those things kind of in front of Carrie and my kids. And I haven't done that in front of other people. And I'm really striving to not do that in front of other people. And well, I'm striving not to do it ever again or anymore, like just to be over those things. But for me, I want to send a message to those that are around me that I am being 100% on diet, and that's what's been the cause of my success. If I were to go to the movies and I've lost 200 pounds, and people are, or anywhere, if you go to a party, let's say you go to a Super Bowl party and you see people that you don't normally see a lot. If they notice that you lost that weight, the overweight people in that crowd of people at the Super Bowl party that noticed you lost weight are going to be curious as to how you lost weight. And they may ask you questions, or they may not ask you questions. Or they may ask other people, hey, how did John lose all that weight? And oh, he crazy. He went on a vegan diet, you know? But what I'm doing in front of them is more important than the words that come out of my mouth. If I say I'm eating a whole food plant-based diet, SOS free, then that's a thing and they can visualize that. But if I say that and then I allow myself a sugar treat or something that isn't SOS free in front of them, then they're going to kind of be like, well, so that's on his diet, I guess. And it's not. When, you know, and so like going to the movies, there might have been people there I would love to influence to eat this way. And if they see me eating a bag of Skittles or drinking a regular soda, then they might think that that's part of my diet on a regular basis. And it's not. It's never part of my diet, you know? And so I feel like for me, it's important for me to represent my diet in front of everybody at all times. And that has helped keep me on track. That was definitely one of the things that if it would have just been me and my son going to the movie, I don't know that I sitting here even, I probably wouldn't even talked about it, but I don't know that I wouldn't have grabbed an Oreo and ate it, you know, like tried it. That just because I am not trying to present myself in any such way, I guess. So, anyways, that was my weekend. I hope you guys all had a good weekend. Make sure that you do subscribe to my channel. Click the like button on this video. Click the bell icon so you'll get alerted when I go live, which is usually 4 p.m. on weekdays. If you haven't started your diet yet, get started right now. There's no reason to wait. Nobody gets to the end and says, man, I just wish I would have waited a little bit longer and get started. No, everybody says they wish they would have started sooner. So get started right now. Don't wait. Don't fall for the myths of moderation, the myth of moderate consumption, that if you're just going to eat, I'll eat half portions. I'll only eat half the meal. It works for a little bit, but it doesn't work for long term. After a while, your body catches up. Also, part of that myth of moderation is that if I just eat a little bit of something that's bad, that it's okay. Everything in moderation. You can have those Oreos as long as you don't overeat them. Well, if you think that the Oreos are making you fat, then you're okay with just making yourself a little bit fat, you know, like then. And then the other myth of moderation is the myth of moderate change. Some people can change moderately. Some people can do it slow. There's a lot of people I hear recommend that people do it slow. And the funny thing is about those people is they almost always say, I recommend that people do it slow, but I did it differently. I just jumped in, but I think it's better for other people to just kind of do it. No, it's not. Just do it. Just change your mind one time. Say, I'm never going to eat another animal product again the rest of my life. I don't have to think about it again. I have to worry about whether or not things have animal products in it, but I'm never eating an animal product again in my life. I don't care. It's done. I made the decision. It's over. I'm not fighting with myself over it. You know, the salt, oil, and sugar, I've kind of been fighting myself over, but it's easiest to just get it out, get it over with. Get started now, guys. Talk to you guys all later.